I first went to India 15 years ago. I was 18, I was naive, I was blown away by the place. 15 years later, I went back and I found a very different place. I found a place with airports and highways and mobile phones. India is a historic nation with 4,500 years of history, and yet in the last 15, 20 years has suddenly got some money in its pocket and things are happening. I was really interested to think, how does that make an Indian see his country? And what role does that individual Indian have in creating that new nation? The way book writing works is you write a proposal at the beginning, you say, I'm going to go and do this, and you go off and do it. Well, India jettisons that out the taxi window as soon as you arrive. What I was looking to do was tell the tale of this changing nation through the eyes of individual Indians. But India is obviously a big place, so finding those individual stories is a real challenge. I would take the train or fly to the major metropolitan centres, and then I would take trains or buses or rickshaws or taxis to the places that are a bit more off the beaten track. I ended up after a year with a mountain of notes and no real idea what the story was anymore, except that I had some great individual tales. Those that are making India in effect, the entrepreneurs that are driving this change, the impacts of the change, the aspirations that brings, whether that's through sport or through consumerism. And then the last section is about the tensions and change between generations. I've chosen a reading about a boy called Suraf Shah, who's 15 years old, and he's from Calcutta and he wants to be a swimmer. I think one of the major changes in India is the determination to make something of your life, the aspiration that young Indians now have that their future can be different from their parents. But it's not just about youthful ambition. Parents are also realizing that their children have an opportunity for a different life and want to invest in that. In the case of this Tiwala's son, through swimming. The Shah family lives in a single cramped room off BT Road in the north of the city. Suraf sleeps on the floor. He's an only child. That is fortunate. The floor could not accommodate a sibling. His orange Vodafone swim shorts are hanging from a string attached to the room's only window. A framed photo of him sits on the sill. He's a good-looking kid with a wide, even-toothed smile. Pinaki, Suraf's father, was there to greet me. Thin as a bird, he walks with a severe limp. Polio, he said good-humouredly, tapping his withered leg. He runs a tea stall on the footpath near Shiam Bazaar. After rent and food, there's little left. Pinaki was evidently proud of his son and talked animatedly about his prodigious talent as a swimmer. He told me about his punishing training schedule, up at 4:30 AM every day, an hour and a half by bus to the pool, 2 hours swimming, back home, then the same again in the afternoon. Was it really worth it? Pinaki merely repeated his son's ambition. He believed the boy had talent. He pointed to the tiny television in the corner. The London Olympics in 2012, he said. I shall watch him on this. I leafed through the pile of memorabilia. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Pinaki broke the silence. The evidence of his son's potential, splayed across the patchy bedspread, had given him a new resolve. Suraf's first chance is to be a good swimmer, he said. We don't have any means, so if he can succeed, then he might be able to build himself a future.